There's now a women's hockey coach in the NHL. Jessica Campbell, she's 32 years old. She's kind of attractive, and she's a woman. She's a coach in the National Hockey League. Let's play this clip from the ESPN broadcast about Seattle's female coach.
Full-time assistant coach in the NHL, and I think head coach Dan Bylsma said it best. While it is monumental to see a woman behind the bench in the NHL, he was just trying to hire the best coach, and that was Jessica. She started playing college hockey at Cornell before winning multiple medals in international play with Team Canada. She worked her way up as a coach, eventually landing in...
Again, I know women play hockey. This woman's 32. And she's 32. She's in the age range of the NHL players. She's attractive. I'm just keeping it real because that's what we do on this show. Man, I would hate to be the HR department for Seattle. There's going to be some issues coming down the pike here. A bunch of athletes, attractive coach, they got to work closely with. I just can't see this not ending poorly and this whole thing, they just hired the best coach. 32-year-old woman was the best candidate to be an assistant coach in the National Hockey League. Miss me with that. Your thoughts?
Jason, we had this discussion a couple of years ago over something very similar towards this dynamic. Can we be honest about it? At the highest levels of professional sports, okay, there is no man that wants to be coached by any woman. Now, they're going to be forced to say, yeah, we respect her knowledge. She played and she helps us out. We don't really care. But in the deepest recesses of anybody's mind, if you're an elite world-class athlete, which anybody is at this level, they've got to be thinking to myself, I want to be coached by a man. I would much rather be screamed at, critiqued, and criticized. And I think the last time we talked about this, it was over basketball. And then again, if someone got in my face, a lot of these guys, their reaction would be under their breath, I'm going to dust this line off again. Bish, please. I mean, no one's going to want to hear it. I'm just telling you, there is a reality towards this, that if you're going to be screamed at, if you're going to have a finger pointed in your direction, you're going to be disciplined at that level of athletics. Men want to be disciplined by other men. It will just come off differently from a woman. That's the reality. It's not politically correct, but I believe it's dead on honest.
I think there's something even more dangerous here in terms of the athletes and the amount of money they're making, but also when you inject a woman into this position, they're going to hop on board with it because, like, hey, this is the direction the NHL is going. It's, I'm not going to rock the boat. I want my money. But what they're also privately going to say is like, hey, man, this isn't really about competition. We're now part of some social experiment. It's just a team. We're WWE. This is just a show. This isn't really competition. They can't be serious. They've got this 32-year-old hot blonde coaching me. This is a television show. It's not a competition. I think it harms the integrity of the game, and it makes the players more cynical about the actual sport they're competing in.
Jason, here's the interesting part. And I think the last time we talked about this, it was about basketball and how you said we made the point that many of the players were raised by single mothers. And it came down to the furthering of the feminization of the American culture and the athletic world. Well, I'm just going to make an assumption that a lot of those hockey players are probably European. They may have actually grown up in a traditional two-parent household. I still think of hockey as being largely a white sport with a lot of guys from different parts of the world where none of this DEI stuff is actually going on. I actually wonder how these guys are going to take to quote unquote female leadership, given that their part of the world looks at this stuff much differently than America.
The DEI stuff is global, but as it relates to the athletes inside their homes, that play hockey, you're right. This is not the construct that they grew up with their parents inside their home. Hockey is a two-parent sport, a lot of travel involved. I'm talking about for American athletes, a lot of travel involved. There's some expense to hockey. It's not as subsidized as football in the earlier years. And you're right. I do think most of these white athletes, I would say 65, 70% of them, maybe even higher, 75% are from a two-parent household structure that probably is more patriarchal than matriarchal. And so, yeah, that's again why I go to, it's just going to enhance the cynicism of like, this whole thing's a joke, and we're just here to make money. And maybe it's always been that way, maybe, but it's like, man, this is just a reality TV show, and I don't think that's good for the game. And I think it's going to lead to a lot of mischief in terms of, because there won't be the real respect for this woman, and then it'll be about, I wonder if I can get in her pants. And I'm not saying with all these guys, but I've been in Steve.
Oh, come on, Jason. That's what road trips are for. Come on. They have plenty of options.
There's a proximity deal that goes on in sports. I'm going to just tell you, here's what happens in training camp. And I'm doing this based off memory, but I'm just telling you what happens in training camp. And just even as a journalist, because like the Chiefs used to do training camp in Wisconsin, River Falls, Wisconsin, and so even for the journalist traveling away, it's like whatever woman is there during training camp, let's say if in real life she's a 6, during training camp she's an 8.5, damn near a 9. She looks like Brooke Shields for you old school people, and for younger people she looks like who's the hottest girl now? Lainey Wilson, is she hot?
Yeah, we'll call her hot.
Yeah, I will for sure. But that's what they all look like. And so I can remember you go to training camp at Ball State, and the female trainers, turned into the most attractive people on planet Earth. And then as soon as school started, the first day of school, perspective and context came in. It's like, and you quit messing with them. You quit flirting with them and all that, because like, the real women have showed up. That woman in that environment will be under attack, and guys will be. And she's a woman. She may be executing a few of her own attacks. It just is what it is. That's why we need separate spaces and separate environments. I want to play a clip from Jessica Campbell on being the first female NHL coach. She's made history. This is so awesome. Play the clip.
Tell me about what it's been like to know that you have broken barriers as the NHL's first female all-time, full-time assistant coach. What is it like for you to know that?
Yeah, it's honestly, it's special to hear, because I'm so focused on just being a coach every day, and I lace up my skates the same way as everybody else, but it's just, I'm different right now in this space, and I'm new to it, so I think experiencing just the magnitude for what it feels like for everyone who's watching and really behind this and seeing it, that's when it really brings a lot of meaning to me, because I just love what I do. I'm extremely passionate about coaching, and obviously I'm so proud to be a Seattle Kraken and to get to be here now and living out my goals, and my ultimate dream is now realized. But just to know that what I'm doing is part of really a bigger thing, and it's so much bigger than myself and what I do every day, to know that somebody else is hopefully going to have it easier, or the door might be held open for another woman or someone to come into this space that is having the challenges to get there. So it means so much, and I can't even really put words to just the magnitude of really the weight that I get to carry this torch so proudly.
I don't even want to respond to that. I just don't miss a second of Fearless. Hit that like button and subscribe to keep up with our latest content.